So far we have seen about the corresponding stresses, whatever been acted on the thin cylinder. So because of the corresponding stresses, what sort of dimensional changes will be there, or what sort of strain will be there. So that is what the second part of this topic. So that will be the effect of change in the dimensions due to the internal pressure. So whenever again, if there is no internal fluid being there, then due to the atmospheric pressure, the corresponding resultant stress will be of 0. And whenever we are considering an internal fluid pressure, then two sort of normal stresses or tensile stresses would be generated or induced. So which we used to call it as principal stresses, that is major and minor principal stress, which used to address normally as in the case of thin cylinder as hoop stress and the longitudinal stress, or circumferential and longitudinal stress. So as I told you in the very beginning, since we'll dealt with three different planes as in the case of principal stress concepts, wherein for this thin cylinder we are considering to be a 2D plane stress condition. In that case, the third plane stress will be of 0, that is the radial stress will be of 0, since the corresponding thickness of the wall cylinder will be of very small value. So in that case, the radial stress that is generated along the cylinder or along the thickness of the cylinder will be considered to be 0. So these are 2D plane stress condition. So in that case, so there is a possibility of change in the dimensions. So one is along the diameter and the other one is along the length. So that is what change in diameter and change in the length. Right? And the corresponding strain used to consider that as a circumferential strain and longitudinal strain. So here, since we are going for a combined stress condition, that is a principal stress condition, we are supposed to take both the change in dimensions into consideration, that is along the longitudinal direction and similarly along the the transverse direction or the lateral direction. So both longitudinal strain and as well as the lateral strain has to be taken into consideration, since it is of a combined stress condition, that is principal stress condition. So that is how we have derived the major principal stress relation and as well as the minor principal stress relation also, by considering the strain that is acting along the inclined plane, that is along the diagonal, the very first unit. So here we know the corresponding stresses, that is sigma c and sigma l as PD by 2t and PD by 4t. Then there will be a possible two sort of strain. One is of circumferential strain and the other one is of longitudinal strain. So we have to take in two stresses into consideration. So circumferential strain is EC. So one is along the longitudinal direction. So longitudinal direction is the direct stress. So direct stress acting along the circumference will be of sigma c, and the corresponding strain will be of sigma c by Young's modulus, because Young's modulus is stress by strain. So strain you can write it as sigma c by E. So this is longitudinal strain, and parallelly the other dimension, that is along the perpendicular direction, that is lateral dimension, will be reduced. Okay, so that sake we are putting up a lateral dimension as Poisson's ratio will come into play, and Poisson ratio will be equal to lateral strain or lateral dimension to the longitudinal dimension. So in that case, mu into the lateral, that is sigma L upon E. Okay, so again substituting the value of the stress as PD by 2t and PD by 4t, we'll get this final relation for circumferential strain, that is EC is equal to PD by 2te into 1 minus mu by 2, because sigma L is PD by 4t, so that comes this 2. Okay, so 1 minus mu by 2. So this is what the general relation for circumferential strain. And circumferential strain, there will be a change in diameter. So circumferential strain can other way written as delta d by d, that is change in diameter to the original diameter, or change in circumference to the original circumference. So delta d by d. So that is what the final dimension is pi into d plus delta d, and the original dimension is pi d. So accordingly, these two terms would get cancelled out. So this will become delta d by d. So always circumferential strain EC is delta d by d, which will be equal to PD by 2TE into 1 minus mu by 2. And again, if you want to calculate only the change in diameter, so this d can be taken into the other side. So that will become PD square by 2TE into 1 minus mu by 2. So this is one of the formulae you are supposed to remember, or you can even derive also, right? Change in diameter or the circumferential strain delta d by d can be PD square by 2TE to 1 minus mu by 2. The same way, there is another strain called longitudinal strain, that is EL. So EL can be again the same way. Along the longitudinal direction, the corresponding strain will be of the longitudinal strain. That is, along the length we are applying the stress. So directly the direct stress will be of sigma L by E. And parallelly, on the other direction, that is the lateral dimension, will be of circumference. So in that case, Poisson's ratio, so minus mu into sigma C by E. So accordingly, your relation would slightly vary. PD by 2TE. Earlier relation it was 1 minus mu by 2. Now this will be 1 by 2 minus mu. The same way, EL can be written as delta L by L. If L goes on the other side, this becomes delta L is equal to PDL by 2TE into 1 by 2 minus mu. Okay, so now the change in length and the change in diameter has been found, and the final thing is the change in volume of the cylinder. So what will be the volumetric strain? Again, the change in volume to the original volume. So delta V by V. So delta V by V, the volume will be of summation of the circumferential strain and the longitudinal strain. So whenever the circumferential strain being taken into consideration, so the corresponding cylinder will be splitted up into two troughs. So two troughs in the sense, the top layer, with respect to the axis, the top axis, and as well as the bottom portion of the cylinder will be subjected to pressure. So that is why we have considered 2 times the EC, 2 times the EC plus the longitudinal direction or strain is EL. Still, if you have any sort of confusion, you can directly go in with respect to the final relation. Say for example, V is known. So original volume of the cylinder is known. Say V is equal to pi by 4 d square L. This is what your initial volume or original volume. So final volume, after there will be a change in dimension. How that can be written? So that can be written as, say the final volume delta V can be of pi by 4 d plus delta d the whole square into L plus delta L. So this is what my final volume. Okay. So in that case, again, what will be the change in volume? Original volume. So this is original final volume minus original volume divided by original volume. If you substitute that and neglecting the smaller terms, finally you will obtain this value as 2 times EC plus EL. So this is as in the case of thin cylinder, right? Again, you are substituting the relation whatever we have derived earlier as delta D by D and delta L by L. So the final relation for change in volume will be delta V is equal to V times PD by 2TE into pi by 2 minus 2 mu. So this is for change in volume, and V is nothing but pi by 4 d square L. Got it? So these are the three relations. One is delta D by D, that is circumferential strain, and the other one is delta L by L, volume at longitudinal strain EL, and the other one is delta V by V, which is of volumetric strain. Okay, so these three relations we can make use of in order to determine the change in the dimensions of the thin cylinder. Either it may be along the circumference or along the length or along the volume. So there are again a few different problems being given here. So one is a thin cylindrical drum of 800 mm diameter and 4 meter long is made of 10 mm thick plate. So thickness, length, and the diameter is given, and we are supposed to calculate the change in the diameter and the change in the length, provided you have got internal pressure of 2.5 megapascal, and as well as the lateral dimension means the Poisson's ratio is required. So Poisson ratio value is also given. Either you can consider this as mu or 1 by m. So directly delta D, already we have derived the relation. Delta D is nothing but PD square by 2TE into 1 minus 1 by 2 times mu, or 1 by 2m. So in that way, you can calculate delta D, and similarly delta L also PDL by 2T into 1 by 2 minus mu. So in that case, change in length can be found. So this is the other case. They've asked for change in volume. So once if you know the if you want to calculate the change in volume, in that case we are in need of the circumferential strain and as well as the longitudinal strain. So that is what directly written as, say, 2 times the circumferential strain into 2 times the circumferential strain plus the longitudinal strain, right? So here a small correction, you just make a note of it. So this is supposed to be eta c, not eta L or epsilon c. This is supposed to be epsilon c, 2 times epsilon c into plus epsilon L, because along the circumferential direction only it will be 2 times. Okay, so just make a note of it, 2 times EC plus EL. So this is as in the case of change in volume. If with respect to the joint efficiency, so here the corresponding joint efficiencies are given. One is the longitudinal joint efficiency and the other one is the circumferential joint efficiency. Longitudinal and then circumferential joint efficiencies are given as 0.8 and 0.5. So if this comes, then the corresponding stress would vary. So rather than PD by 2T, it will be PD by 2T divided by eta L, and for longitudinal stress it is PD by 4T into eta C. So directly we have make use of the circumferential strain relation and the longitudinal strain relation, and finally we will be able to calculate the volumetric strain, that is 2 times the circumferential plus the longitudinal. So accordingly we will be able to find the delta V, delta L and delta D. So these are all the change in dimensions in the thin cylinder. So far we have seen thin cylinder. The same thing can be applied for thin sphere, that is spherical shell, right? So it is very simple. So both the cases, as in the case of sphere, the corresponding resisting area and as well as the projected area would be same, that is along the longitudinal direction and circumferential direction. The magnitude of the stress would be similar, right? And only the direction would vary. So in that sake, both the values of stresses will be same. So sigma C and sigma L will be same. So again, the same way we can take, we have to equate two different forces. One is force due to internal fluid pressure and the other one is force due to the resistant stress. So resistant stress here is, say, sigma. So since both the direction the stresses are equal, we can consider any one of the stresses. So as in this case, we have gone for the circumferential stress alone. So total force upon the resisting area. So resisting area is nothing but the shaded area that is along the thickness. So that is pi d by pi dt. And internal fluid pressure and the projected area will be pi by 4 d square, the entire spherical circular area, that is pi by 4 d square. So in that case, the formula would become PD by 4T, and since both the stresses are same, the longitudinal direction will also be of PD by 4T. Once sigma C and sigma L is known, that is the major and minor principal stress, if both are same, that there is no point of maximum shear stress. So maximum shear stress will be 0 since both the stresses are equal. In the same way, since both the stresses are same and the corresponding joint efficiency will also be same. So either longitudinal joint efficiency or circumferential joint efficiency. In general, we can write it as eta as a joint efficiency. So this is what the difference between the thin cylinder and thin sphere. So as in the case of thin spherical shell, both circumferential stress and as well as the longitudinal stress will be same. And in that sake, your corresponding change in dimension will also be same. That because the circumferential strain and as well as the longitudinal strain will be same as in the case of thin spherical shell. So that is what both delta D by D and delta L by L. There is no point of delta L by L here. Okay, so we can directly consider strain in any one of the direction as delta D by D, which is PD by 4TE into 1 minus mu. The same way, whatever we have done for cylinder, the same way we have done for the spherical shell also. One is of lateral dimension and the other one is of longitudinal deformation. So this is a longitudinal deformation and this is of lateral deformation. Okay. So accordingly, delta D by D for spherical shell can be found. And the same way, since the corresponding stress will be of same. So normally for V, change in EV, how will you write? So normally for EV, it can be written as 2 times EC plus EL. So plus EL. So EL will be considered as EC. So directly you can write it as 3 times EC. So EV can be written as 3 times EC. Still, if you have any doubt, as I told in the last part, you can simply consider the original volume. So original volume here is either 4 by 3 R cube, if not 5 by 6 D cube. So this is what your original volume, right? And on differentiating it, you'll get, so since we are going for the differential element is the diameter, so directly we don't have any sort of length, so directly you can differentiate that in order to get the delta V. So differentiating that, we'll get pi by 6 3d square. So delta V by V, now we can put this into the relation delta V and this as V. So in that case, your formula will become delta V by V as 3 times delta D by D, which is same as 3 times EC. Okay. So accordingly, delta V by V relation will be 3 times delta D by D. So delta D by D already we have derived as PD by 4TE into 1 minus mu. Okay. So this is about a thin spherical shell and same sort of simple numerals has been given there, right? So directly the diameter, pressure and the thickness are given and directly can substitute as PD by 4T. So that is what asked, stress induced in the spherical vessel plate. Since both the stresses are same, here we have considered directly as circumferential stress. And if the same case, if efficiency is given, joint efficiency as 65% is given, so in that case, PD by 4T times eta. Here we'll get eta into consideration. So same relation, additionally we'll have eta. So for this particular problem, the tutorial problem, since eta is given as 65%. Again, as in the case of change in dimension, so internal diameter is given, thickness is given, pressure, they have asked for increase in the diameter or change in diameter and change in volume. So delta D, we know the relation, and delta V is also known, 3 times the circumferential strain. So accordingly, we can calculate delta V. Okay, so these are all some of the tutorial, whatever we have seen in the earlier case, like so far in the example, only the numerals number would vary here. Okay, the rest all same. So give it a try on this tutorial questions, and as well as uh, I've shared you that RK Bansal book as well. So in that case, you do have different problems also rather than this. As I've told you, one such problem I have indicated, say like the water tank example. The pressure will be given in terms of indirectly with respect to the density of the water and as well as the height of the water level. So that is one sort of example problem we can come up with. Is it clear? So that's it about this particular topic, thin cylinder and thin spherical shell. So in the earlier case, we have seen about the thin cylinder. So 5 different relation. One is for sigma C, sigma L, delta D by D, delta L by L, and then delta V by V. And similarly, as in the case of spherical, since both the stresses are of the same magnitude, you can consider any one of the stress. So here there is no point of going for the longitudinal direction. So the corresponding stress along xx and xyy will be same. So in that case, directly can consider it to be the circumferential stress, that is sigma c. Delta d by d will be the corresponding change in the dimensions. So that's it. And if you have any sort of doubts, you can raise. You can unmute yourself and ask for any doubts. If you don't have any sort of doubt, we'll close this.